Hello dear friends and welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you join me for our chats about health and well-being, especially as we navigate the rich tapestry of our senior years. Today, we're going to talk about a very common and often beloved ingredient found in kitchens all over the world, a spice that has been revered for centuries, not only for its zesty flavor, but also for its remarkable medicinal properties in traditional systems like Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. I'm talking about ginger, that wonderfully aromatic, pungent root that adds a kick to our stir-fries, a warmth to our teas, and a soothing touch to an upset stomach. Ginger is truly a powerhouse, isn't it? Many of us rely on it for its anti-inflammatory benefits, its ability to aid digestion, and its comforting qualities. But here's a question that might surprise you. Could this trusted friend in our spice rack, this champion of natural remedies, have a hidden dark side when paired with certain other foods? Could there be combinations where ginger, instead of soothing and healing, might inadvertently contribute to or exacerbate inflammation or cause other unwelcome reactions in our bodies? It's a thought that might seem counterintuitive, given ginger's well-established reputation. However, the world of food interactions is complex, and sometimes even the most beneficial ingredients can have less than ideal effects when combined with others, particularly for our mature bodies, which can be more sensitive. Today we're going to delve into this hidden crisis of ginger. We'll explore a couple of specific food pairings with ginger that some traditional wisdom and emerging understanding suggest could potentially lead to an increased risk of inflammation or other adverse effects. This isn't about scaring you away from ginger. Absolutely not. Ginger has too many wonderful benefits to offer. Instead, this is about fostering a deeper understanding, encouraging mindful eating, and ensuring that we continue to harness the power of ginger safely and effectively, maximizing its benefits while sidestepping any potential pitfalls. So, let's peel back the layers on this fascinating topic and discover how to keep ginger as our firm friend in health. Now, before we dive into the specific food combinations to be cautious about, let's briefly reiterate why ginger is so highly regarded. Its main bioactive compound, gingerol, is responsible for much of its medicinal prowess. Gingerol has powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. It's used to combat nausea, reduce muscle pain and soreness, help with osteoarthritis, lower blood sugars, improve heart disease risk factors, and aid in chronic indigestion. It's truly a versatile and potent natural remedy. So the idea that it could interact negatively with other foods might seem perplexing. The key often lies in how different compounds in foods can influence each other's absorption, metabolism, or overall effect on the body's delicate balance, particularly concerning inflammation. Let's get to the heart of our discussion. Which foods, when combined with ginger, might potentially lead to an increased risk of inflammation or other adverse effects? It's important to preface this by saying that a lot of this information comes from traditional food combining principles, observations from holistic practitioners, and areas where modern scientific research might still be catching up with anecdotal evidence or theoretical concerns. Hard, large-scale clinical trial data on these specific negative interactions is often limited. However, wisdom passed down through generations and the understanding of how certain food properties might clash can still offer valuable guidance, especially when it comes to gentle prevention and being attuned to our bodies. The first type of food that some traditional systems advise caution with, when consumed in large quantities alongside ginger, particularly for individuals with a hot or fiery constitution or those already prone to certain types of inflammation, is highly spicy or pungent foods, such as hot chili peppers, mustard, or horseradish, especially in excessive amounts. Now, this might sound a bit like fighting fire with fire, and that's precisely the concern. Ginger itself is considered a warming spice. It stimulates circulation and has a pungent quality. Hot chili peppers, containing capsaicin, are also intensely warming and can be inflammatory for some people, especially in the digestive tract if consumed in excess. The same goes for potent mustards or horseradish. While small amounts of these spices might be fine or even beneficial for some, the concern arises when large quantities of ginger are combined with large quantities of these other intensely heating and pungent foods. The reasoning from a traditional perspective like in Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine, is that an overabundance of heating energy in the body can lead to an imbalance, potentially manifesting as symptoms of inflammation. This could include things like acid reflux, heartburn, skin rashes or flushing, agitated digestive systems, or even an increase in inflammatory conditions like gastritis or inflammatory bowel symptoms in susceptible individuals. Imagine someone with a sensitive stomach or a tendency towards acid reflux. They take a strong ginger tea for its benefits, but then they have a meal laden with very hot chili peppers. The combined intense heat and pungency could overwhelm their digestive system, leading to discomfort, burning sensations, and an aggravation of their underlying inflammatory tendencies. Mrs. D'Souza, for example, loved spicy food and also enjoyed strong ginger chews for digestion. She started noticing that on days she had a particularly fiery curry followed by several ginger chews, her heartburn would be significantly worse, and she'd feel uncomfortably hot and agitated. While both ginger and chili have their own health benefits, their combined potent heating nature, when overdone, might have been too much for her system. It's about balance. If you already have a hot condition or a very sensitive system, combining large amounts of multiple intensely warming and pungent substances might tip the scales towards an inflammatory reaction rather than a soothing one. The second food, or more accurately, category of items that requires careful consideration when taken with ginger, especially in supplement form or in high medicinal doses, is certain blood-thinning medications or substances that have significant anticoagulant properties. Ginger itself has mild blood-thinning properties. Compounds in ginger, like gingerol, can inhibit platelet aggregation, which is the process where blood platelets clump together to form clots. This can be beneficial for cardiovascular health in some contexts, as it can help prevent unwanted blood clots. However, the concern arises when ginger, especially in concentrated forms like supplements, extracts, or very strong teas, consumed regularly in large amounts, is taken concurrently with prescription blood-thinning medications such as warfarin, coumadin, heparin, clopidogrel, Plavix, or even high doses of aspirin or other NSAIDs that also have anticoagulant effects. The potential danger here is an additive effect, where the combined blood-thinning action of ginger and the medication becomes too strong, significantly increasing the risk of bleeding. This could manifest as easy bruising, nosebleeds, prolonged bleeding from cuts, or in more serious cases, internal bleeding, which can be life-threatening. For seniors who are more likely to be on blood-thinning medications for conditions like atrial fibrillation, deep vein thrombosis, or after a heart attack or stroke, this interaction is a critical one to be aware of. Imagine Mr. Goldstein, who takes warfarin daily to prevent blood clots. He starts drinking several cups of very strong ginger tea every day, believing it will help his arthritis. Without realizing it, he might be potentiating the effect of his warfarin, making his blood too thin and putting him at risk for a serious bleed. His doctor might notice his INR, a measure of blood clotting time, becoming dangerously high without initially suspecting the ginger. This doesn't mean you can't have a little ginger in your food if you're on blood thinners. Culinary amounts are usually not a problem. However, using ginger therapeutically in larger doses or taking ginger supplements absolutely requires a conversation with your doctor or pharmacist. If you are also on anticoagulant or antiplatelet therapy, they can advise you on whether it's safe, if your medication dosage needs adjustment, or if you should avoid high-dose ginger altogether. It's a classic example of how a natural substance with beneficial properties can become risky when it interacts with potent medications. The inflammation risk here is not direct inflammation from the food combination itself, but rather the severe health consequences, which can include inflammation and tissue damage resulting from a bleeding event caused by an excessive anticoagulant effect. It's also worth briefly mentioning, though perhaps less directly tied to inflammation per se, that some traditional views suggest avoiding excessive ginger if one has conditions like gallstones, as ginger can stimulate bile production, which might be problematic. And very high doses of ginger can sometimes cause mild heartburn, diarrhea, or mouth irritation in some individuals, regardless of what it's combined with. These are generally dose-dependent and individual sensitivities. Now that we've explored these potential areas of caution, it's so important to reiterate that ginger is, for the vast majority of people and in most circumstances, a wonderfully healthy and beneficial spice. The key to harnessing its benefits while avoiding any potential health yin huan, hidden dangers, lies in correct and mindful consumption. If you're finding this balanced perspective helpful, please do take a moment to click that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, we'd love to welcome you to our community for more practical health discussions. So, how can we enjoy ginger safely and effectively? Here are some practical tips. First, moderation is key, especially with concentrated forms. While adding fresh or powdered ginger to your cooking is generally safe and beneficial for most people, be more cautious with highly concentrated ginger supplements, extracts, or drinking very large quantities of strong ginger tea, especially on a daily basis for extended periods. If you're using ginger therapeutically for a specific condition, it's always best to do so under the guidance of a healthcare professional or a qualified herbalist who can recommend an appropriate and safe dosage for your individual needs. Don't assume that if a little is good, a lot must be better. Second, listen to your body and consider your constitution. As traditional medicine systems emphasize, we are all individuals with unique bodily constitutions and sensitivities. If you find that ginger, especially in larger amounts or combined with other spicy foods, causes you discomfort, heartburn, or any other adverse reaction, reduce the amount or avoid that particular combination. If you know you have a particularly hot or pitta constitution, in Ayurvedic terms, or if you suffer from conditions characterized by heat and inflammation, like some types of gastritis or skin rashes, you might need to use ginger more sparingly or balance it with cooling foods and herbs. Third, be mindful of potential medication interactions. This is particularly crucial for seniors who are more likely to be taking multiple medications. As we discussed, the most significant interaction to be aware of is with blood-thinning drugs. However, ginger might also potentially interact with diabetes medications, as it can lower blood sugar and some blood pressure medications. Always inform your doctor and pharmacist about any herbal remedies or supplements you are taking, including ginger if you're using it in medicinal quantities, so they can check for any potential interactions with your prescribed drugs. This is a vital step in ensuring your safety. Fourth, choose high-quality ginger. When using fresh ginger, look for roots that are firm, smooth, and free from mold. If using powdered ginger, buy it from a reputable source to ensure its purity and quality. Fifth, consider the timing and context. For digestive benefits, ginger tea or a small piece of fresh ginger is often taken before or after meals. If you're prone to heartburn, you might find that taking ginger on an empty stomach is more problematic than with food. Experiment to see what works best for you. And finally, if you have any pre-existing health conditions, especially bleeding disorders, gallstones, diabetes, or heart conditions, or if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, it is always wisest to consult your healthcare provider before using ginger in amounts greater than what you would typically use in cooking. My dear friends, ginger is a remarkable gift from nature, a spice that has warmed our kitchens and soothed our ailments for millennia. Its anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and digestive aiding properties are well recognized and can be a wonderful asset to our health, especially as we age. The purpose of our discussion today was not to diminish its value, but to enhance our understanding of how to use it wisely and safely. By being aware of potential interactions, particularly the cautionary note about combining large amounts of ginger with other intensely heating spices if you have a sensitive system, and the critical importance of discussing ginger use with your doctor if you are on blood-thinning medications, we can continue to enjoy ginger's many benefits without inadvertently stepping into a hidden crisis. It's about finding that beautiful balance, embracing the power of natural remedies while also respecting their potency and understanding how they interact with our unique bodies and any medications we might be taking. Healthy eating and the use of medicinal herbs and spices should always be approached with mindfulness, knowledge, and a deep listening to our own physical responses. Let ginger continue to be a source of flavor, comfort, and health in your life. Just remember to use it thoughtfully. What are your favorite ways to use ginger? Have you ever noticed any particular sensitivities or, conversely, wonderful benefits from it? We would love for you to share your experiences and any wisdom you have on this topic in the comments section below. Your insights are always so valuable to our community. Thank you so much for joining me today for this important and, I hope, enlightening conversation. May your journey with health be filled with both wisdom and joy. Until next time, please take wonderful care of yourselves. Bye for now.